breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors, Friday, June 14th. It is our last edition of the season before summer hiatus, so glad you're with us. If you're on our live version, we're live currently Friday morning on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Of course, if you're listening to our radio version, then we're on 94.3 The Game at 12 noon. Philip Pilkington producing today's show. Will be joined shortly by Elijah Morris, ECU senior defensive lineman, as we continue our Hoist the Colors Team Boneyard initiative, catching up with those guys heading into the season. We'll also have a Team Boneyard update from Matt Slate, board member with the Team Boneyard NIL Collective later in the program. So excited for today's show. Philip Pilkington producing as always. Philip, it's hard to believe that this is the final show of the season, but we talked about it, man. It's been a grind, a little bittersweet, I would say. We'll enjoy some downtime, but it's not going to be the same for the next few months.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's been a lot of fun, and like, we kind of said before the show, I think for the first about week or two off, it's going to be kind of like, hey, we don't have to do the show, and then, probably get through July 4th, and we'll be like, dang, this is kind of boring. Wish we could be on the air, because it's a lot of fun, not only being on, but just hanging out between breaks. I always say the best radio is the radio that happens during the commercial breaks, so it's fun to spend the time together each day, and I'm going to miss that, but hey, we're going to be back in August.
Hoist the Colors between the breaks or after dark. One day we'll have to air what goes on behind the scenes, because I do agree if we could take some of those conversations on air, it would be a lot of fun, man. But, I mean, it's just, football, basketball, baseball kind of rule the roost in Greenville, North Carolina, and definitely from an ECU perspective, things kind of died down. I mean, there is still stuff going on in the news cycle, specifically recruiting, and we could come on this show for the next few weeks and do recruiting and, in-depth previews for the upcoming season. But I do think we all, including the fans, deserve some away time. And because once you get started with August camp, man, it is a grind. It is 24/7, 365, it feels like. And so, we'll still have coverage on hoistthecolors.net as well as 94.3 The Game, social media pages. So it's not like we're disappearing, but it's just, nice to get a little break and recharge for the upcoming season. So I don't know. I mean, are you still going to try to do any podcasts in the meantime to pass the time, or are you going to just take a break from on-air personality for a while?
It'd be nice to take a little on-air break, but me and my friend that do our NASCAR podcast, we're going to keep that going. So obviously it'll be the kind of the bulk of NASCAR, because that and baseball, and like we talked about earlier, hot dog eating will be about the only sports on. Of course, this year we at least have something to watch a little extra over the summers. We do have the Summer Olympics coming up, so that'll be fun. And not that we need to do a show, because not that you or I know anything how to do analysis on swimming or track and field or handball, but it's always fun to watch, and it'll give us something to do in the late July, early August weeks.
No doubt. And your Boston Celtics trying to wrap it up tonight, Philip. 3-0. You think they complete the sweep against the Mavericks?
I don't know. That's a tough ass to sweep. I don't think they want to go out with Mark Cuban's last game of an owner being at home in a sweep. So I'm going to say it goes 5.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully you're celebrating a championship tonight, and College World Series underway today. Virginia, North Carolina get it started, and then Florida State, Tennessee, NC State, Kentucky tomorrow. All right, we have Elijah Morris, ECU senior defensive lineman, now in studio, just made his way over from campus. Elijah, welcome back, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. Been up a while.
Yeah.
Had to go see Big John this morning, but glad to be here.
So you are doing, we had Chad Stevens and J.D. Lampley on earlier this week. You are doing y'all's typical summer workouts and everything, man?
Yeah, typical summer session 1. This is where it happens, where the strength and conditioning program really comes into account. And, thankfully we got the best guy in the business to do it, with Big John.
So what's it like with Big John? I mean, he seems like obviously a very players-oriented strength coach. Like, is he still pretty demanding of you guys, or if you're taking care of business, kind of give us a rundown of what he's like?
Big John is one of those he's a great mentor, really, really for the players. And because, we're with him more than we are our regular coaches, because when we're in the offseason, it's strictly him. And, he's so wise with what he knows and what the knowledge he brings and can give us, that just anytime you need to talk to somebody, you go talk to Big John.
And, you know, as you said, y'all spend more time with him and the strength staff really almost than the coaches at times, especially this time of year. So, like, culture building, I know Coach Houston leans on Big John a lot for that. So how much is that a part of what y'all are doing too? Not only the strength training, trying to improve that, but the culture, you know, getting that set this time of year?
It's really important because, you know, obviously the freshmen, they all just got here this week, and, you know, they're going through their first college lift. So, you know, Big John shows them the ropes, and, you know, he lets them know our expectations and what the standard is, and, you know, he holds them accountable, and he's going to hold everybody accountable. So that's just a little bit of how Big John works. And, you know, we come in every day, we're going to work, and, you know, he take care of us. He definitely does, but, you know, there's a reason he's the best in the business.
Elijah Morris with us, ECU senior defensive lineman. All right, so these freshmen getting in, you were once a freshman coming in. What is that transition like for those guys? Like, do they get hit in the face pretty good right away with the workouts and everything?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what they don't know yet, but, you know, it's the freshman's jobs to come in, you know, and learn, you know. You were just a guy at your high school. Now you're coming to a new place. You're a small fish again, and you learn. You know, it's a learning experience, and luckily, you know, they got a lot of older guys and guys who have been in college programs before who can show them the ropes a little bit. So, you know.
Do you have to take any of those guys under your wing this early and be like, hey, man, just push through this and you'll be all right? Or is it, I don't know, are they doing fine thus far, maybe a little deeper into the summer?
Well, the first workout is today, so we'll see how it goes.
So still early.
Yeah, very early.
I guess it's more like preseason camp where those guys, where it's day in, day out, really from like, you know, sun up to sundown, you are just in the grind. Like, you know, being a high school player is good and all, but like that has to be like unlike anything when you go through preseason camp for the first time. So what's that adjustment like for those guys?
It's definitely a big leap from high school because, you know, you're not used to – I mean, you're used to camp in high school level, but the college level is really demanding, and you have to know, you know, not just how to take care of your body physically but mentally as well because, I mean, those are long hours during the day where you got to be physically locked in practice, mentally paying attention early morning in film, and then film later on, and you have to hydrate, take care of your body in and out the training room. So it's a big difference from high school to college, especially camp-wise. So, you know, that's a tough thing.
We we're talking with Chad Stevens the other day. He's a 6-year guy. You're a 5th-year guy. He was talking about he's trying to take care of his body because he's getting up there in age, getting a little old. You know, this time of year, like you almost have to, I don't know, like put in the work so then when you get to the season, your body can handle it. So what about you? Like, how do you go about trying to prepare yourself for the grind that is the season?
Well, like Chad, I got a lot of tread on the tires from college, but, you know, it's our job to come in, get the stretching, get to the training room and get treatment on whatever it is. And, you know, they're really on us, the coaches are. You got to be on it before it happens, like anything happens. You know, whether it's staying hydrated, you hydrated the night before. You're not hydrating the day of competition. It's all about just taking your body ahead of time. That way, like you said, once the season comes around, your body is already ready for it. So, you know, you do have to go in early, get the stretching in, for me at least. So.
How are you feeling health-wise as, you know, obviously you're a few months away from camp, but just, you know, going into your 5th year and everything?
I feel great. You know, obviously had the hiccup last year, the little injury, but, you know, I feel great. Body feels amazing. You know, Big John's getting us in the best shape of our life again. So, you know, we're really preparing for a great season.
Elijah Morris with us, ECU defensive lineman. And, Elijah, we cover, obviously, recruiting on our site, and you know, I've got a ton of official visits going on as well as older players in the program. And I've talked to many recruits who, you know, kind of say Elijah's one of those guys who you're making a big impact on their visits. So what kind of goes into when you are hosting visits like this time of year, you know, trying to set that example and help welcome those guys in?
Just trying to give these guys a background of what our culture is and what we built it to be. Just telling them the truth, really. You know, because because, I mean, you go to different programs, they're going to tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
Every program is going to tell you what you want to hear. But, just tell them the truth. Give them a little background information and really just treat them like little bro, like family. Just tell them what it is and what it's not.
And a lot of those guys come in, they say, like, especially the ones that end up committing, they almost feel like they're already part of the team on that official visit weekend. So is that part of it too, like almost treating them like a potential teammate down the road and like welcoming into the family?
It really is, treating them like they are part of the family. And, at the same time, trying to drop some knowledge on them because, this might not be the place for them, and if it's not, just letting them know, hey, take your time, do whatever you got to do, take care of business. But it is like treating them like family, though. But just if I can give them any words of advice for down the road, happy to do it. So
it's always crazy to me the amount of guys that come here for the first time and just don't realize like what the facilities, what everything is all about. Like they're kind of just starstruck by it. So do you experience that too, where guys are just like, man, I didn't realize y'all had it kind of this good here?
Yeah, because I realize it whenever we're talking about like food and stuff, like how well we're fed, and they'll ask us a lot of the questions. Like a lot of moms, they'll ask us like, is our baby going to be taken care of? And thankfully over the years we have been really blessed. We never want for food or anything, so that's just a blessing. And anybody who says like training table food might not be that good, well, I treat it as you just being spoiled. A lot of places would kill to have this.
Right.
People come from JUCOs and different places where they didn't have this, so it really is just a blessing.
Can't complain about free food at the end of the day,
you
right?
Can't. You really can't.
No doubt. Elijah Morris with us. All right, so we talked to you, I think, going into the, shortly after spring, and obviously going into the spring, Elijah, and, the culture with all the new guys coming in continues to grow, I'm sure, over the summer during the workouts and everything. So how do you feel like that's continuing to come together as, just the team chemistry, everything this time of year?
It's really great in the summer to build it because, where you're right beside your brother, sweating your butt off, running. So it's like, pain. What is it? Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. Yep.
So, that's the best time to really grow together because, you're both getting up 5 in the morning, the crack of dawn, going out there and working your butt off every day. So, and you're not the only one doing it. Your brother's doing it with you. So, that's what really builds it.
So y'all have that. Y'all do have OTAs as well going on where y'all are allowed to do some football stuff. So is it more fundamentals or like y'all putting in new stuff or reliving old stuff this time of year from that perspective?
Trying to get some of the new guys who came in back on the same page and then sharpening up a lot of things. That's what OTAs are really for. Just staying sharp on the little things, like whether it's formations, the schemes, some of the old plays. So it's just going back over the stuff and then getting some of these new guys acclimated to like how to practice a little bit, but not fully. So
it's getting pretty hot, but it's not August preseason camp yet.
Definitely not that type of heat yet.
Yeah, and it's I guess it hits a little different when the full pads come on.
Oh, it definitely is different.
No doubt. So good little warm up, but not quite there yet. All right, let's get a break in with Elijah Morris. We'll come back. We'll continue to talk about some ECU football, the season ahead. Want to get Elijah's take on, not only the upcoming schedule, but also the expanding college football playoff. There's a lot to play for the Pirates heading into a new year, and also the new EA Sports video game. We'll ask Elijah if he's going to get any time with that before the season starts. We'll be right back. This is Hoist the Colors.
This is ECU head football coach Mike Houston, and you're listening to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors here. If you're watching our live version, we got some technical difficulties on YouTube, so we're just rolling right along. Elijah Morris is with us, ECU senior defensive lineman, and we were talking previously, Elijah, about the EA Sports video game. So I assume you're going to be in the game. I don't know if you've got any confirmation on that, or like y'all get paid, right? Something.
We are getting an allotment of some money for the game.
So how excited are you to
play? I'm more excited just for the game coming back than like being in the game.
Yeah,
it's awesome being in the game, but the fact that college football, NCAA back, like that's awesome. Like,
so how much did you play like growing up?
Man, I played it a lot. Like,
yeah.
NCAA 14, like after 2014, I kept playing it. So it was like, we're still going. Like I think I made it to this year.
Oh, really?
Or something like that. So, but it's really cool that game's coming back, and it's a blessing now to really be in that game. So
it's crazy, man. I can't imagine just like playing as yourself in the game. That's gonna be pretty cool. Like player lock on number 90, Elijah Morris. It's gonna be
awesome.
pretty cool. I was talking with Chad. I was like, what do you think your rating's going to be? I guess it's just complete unknown because, like, nobody really knows, like, what the top player is going to be rated. I don't know.
I have no idea what the rating was. I hope I get a pretty good one.
I think you should.
Just a decent one. Like, I could work with. Like, we'll update them, like, over time.
Right.
Like, just give me something to mess with.
Something to work with.
Yeah.
For you, what if you were making the ratings, what would you say your best attribute would be?
Best attribute?
Yeah. If you could dive into all that.
Got to be awareness.
Awareness
got to be up.
That way, because you know what's going on everywhere, so that makes sense. Well, I told Chad he could have like a 99 awareness rating too, because he's pretty smart, football IQ guy. Elijah Morris with us. All right, so are y'all gonna get like a? See, I was big into like the whole online dynasty deal with my friends.
I was too.
So like not everybody can have ECU. So are you gonna like split it up and go different teams in the American, or just pick some random teams? I don't know.
I don't even know yet.
Yeah. There's just so much unknown, right?
There really is, and I just want to see like the basis of everything. Like I'm seeing all the different modes like on IG that they're releasing and stuff. But I just want to see like I just want to click on different things, and see what happens.
Nah, I want to know how recruiting's incorporated.
Yeah, like how they got NIL on there and grades. So it's like that's crazy how they got all that stuff now.
I used to love the recruiting side and getting guys on like visits and making promises and stuff. So I'm excited to see how that all plays out. I think when the trailer came out, were you like in the trailer, like number 90?
Yeah, I had a little appearance. I had a little
against Army.
Yeah, it was against Army. I got a whole bunch of people that sent me that because it went so fast that I didn't even notice it, and I was like, oh, that is me. So that was cool being in there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, looking forward to that. I guess it comes out sometime in July. So you're looking forward to hopefully getting in some games because once camp starts, like y'all are kind of locked down. So maybe we'll get some games in before camp starts.
Definitely want to. Definitely might even since we got consoles at the facility.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe we can play some in there. So that'll be cool.
That'll be awesome. So looking forward to that new NCAA football game coming out, and Elijah Morris featured in the trailer. So that was awesome. All right, so. The schedule, Elijah, I know that we haven't dove into the game specifically and y'all aren't looking ahead, but we did get a question from a fan the other day. He wants to know what game y'all looking forward to the most. If you could pick one, is there one that you're really kind of just waiting for, not that you're not excited for every game?
Definitely App State.
Yeah.
That's one. I didn't even travel last year to that one, and just watching on TV, it rubbed me the wrong way, and it still don't sit right with me the way they took charge on the field. But we got something for that this year, and then Liberty too. I look forward to, and I look forward to playing on Liberty. Former teammate T-Jack. So that'll be cool too.
What do you think? I mean, obviously, I know y'all are pretty tight. Came in same class, right? Recruiting class. So, got to be a weird dynamic. Like, I'm sure y'all stay in touch. So y'all just not talk that week, you think?
We'll probably talk just a little bit because I'll probably say just talk a little stuff to him, and he'll probably say something back. But it's all love. But definitely looking forward to App. That's a big one, Circle.
Yeah, that should be a great home environment. And y'all have had to go. Y'all play them in Charlotte and on the road, so you're kind of looking forward to getting them at home and
I'm glad we're
friendly
getting them at home,
confines.
because like I said, watching it last year, even though I didn't travel, just seeing how everything went down in Boone, come run it back at our crib. So.
Yeah, it'll be fun. That'll be a fun environment for sure. Norfolk State, August 31st, the opener. And we're sitting here in mid-June, Elijah, but it really does go fast, man. Like, your senior year, and it'll be over in the blink of an eye, so you're going to enjoy it along the way. But I don't know, have you kind of sat down and really thought about you going to your last season, like what it'll kind of be like from an emotional standpoint?
It's going to be real emotional, but just preparing for it, just really looking forward to it, and because I know what's on the table. And, it's like you're backed into a corner, but, that's when the magic happens, when all the cards is on the table and everything, like you're fighting for something. So, and I'm playing for something too. You want to leave a place better than how you found it. So that's what's also on my mind too. But yeah, it does get a little emotional thinking about it. But that's the thing about the journey. So like I said, I can't wait for it.
Yeah. Got to make every day count for sure. The new expanded college football playoff. I know, like, y'all take it one game at a time. Rajay Harris, 1%. So, like, you can't look ahead. But, like, the reality is if y'all have a really special season, y'all could be in the college football playoff now with 12 teams getting in. Like, is that even a motivating factor at all? Or is it just kind of
It definitely is, you know. Our goal is the conference. And, anything that comes with that, we're going to prepare for it. So, if whatever bowl game it is after that, we're preparing for it. So, one game at a time, like Ross says, 1%. But, yeah, I'm excited for the big playoff picture.
No doubt. Should be a lot to look forward to. Who are some of the young defensive linemen or just young guys in general, whether it be offense or defense, that are kind of catching your eye in workouts and everything?
Definitely C.J. Mims. He's one of them. He's going to have me ready to run every day, and just always pushing me to never relax, never stay comfortable. So, he stands out. And then who else be standing out? I could say I'm not really with the skill positions, but I know Zakai Barker was in our lift for a little bit this week. I mean, he's going to be something special this year. He really is. As a leader, as a player, he's going to be something special, man. I'll watch.
He just seems to have, speaking of awareness, like his awareness rating should be through the roof. Just watching him, IQ, he seems smart. He'll have the helmet mic in. So is he did he communicate with y'all any more in the spring than usual with that, or is that still kind of a work in progress?
It's still a work in progress. Yeah. I know he used it some. One of the safeties did too. It's still a work in progress, something to get used to. But, I think it could be real valuable to us.
How much do y'all as defensive linemen rely on the linebackers as y'all are kind of setting up? Like, are y'all kind of doing your own thing, or do y'all rely on them for communication a lot?
I mean, we rely on them in certain instances, but the fact we know a lot of the playbook as well, so we know what's going on. But they definitely get us right up front if we need to shift over or something. They play a very big role. And then also for the younger guys, they definitely need the linebackers' help in the back end because they want to know what's going on, and they might not fully grasp hold of the playbook yet. So, the linebackers really do play a role. And the fact that they communicate to us and they've got a whole bunch of key reads that they got to look and make checks as well to other guys and then tell you what to do. So they got a lot on their plate. So, the best we can do is know what's going on for ourselves as well. So
no doubt. They got linebacker, I say, is the toughest position because those guys are having to read it, stop the run, and cover the pass. So they got a lot to do.
It's a hard position.
No doubt. Of course, y'all are getting hit in the mouth every play, so it's pretty tough right after the snap.
At least we expect it. We were prepared for it. Every play we're
just ready.
Hey, I'm going to hit this guy right in his face.
No doubt. Elijah Morris with us. There was a story the other day on 24/7 Sports about your teammate, Savone Rebel, basically getting recruited into the portal by everybody. Y'all probably knew a lot of that, just from talking with him. But, when you see all that and his loyalty coming back and, he's not the only one. Y'all had other guys with similar opportunities. What does that kind of say about the culture y'all built, wanting to stay together, kind of keep building what y'all have already started?
It just shows us how close our brotherhood is. You know, Vaughn is a really important piece of our defense, and you know, I'm so glad he decided to stay, and everybody else who stayed with us stayed because you know it's really love in that locker room, and I love playing with those guys on the field, and I love being around them off the field. You know, real big family. But I'm glad he's back, and I can't wait for the year he's gonna have. So
the preseason camp, from a media perspective, a lot of the storylines, Elijah, will be about the quarterback battle. What about y'all defensively? Like, are y'all gonna be talking in the locker room yourself, saying like who's winning the battle? I don't know. Like, do y'all just not worry about that at all?
we don't worry about that part. For us defensively, we're gonna be pushing those guys to really battle it out because of how much we're gonna get after them. So, you know, we look at it, but you know, both of them are gonna get better from going against us. So.
No doubt. And both of them look good in the spring. I mean, for somebody who saw a lot of practice, I don't think you can really call a starter at this point. So it should be an interesting preseason. From your perspective as a senior, you know what a good preseason camp is, a good offseason from a chemistry and team perspective is. Like, what are the biggest keys for this team to be reaching this potential when the season rolls around over the next few months?
Number one, we all got to be together. Like, that's the biggest thing. If we're not together, we're not going to go very far. And two, just the trust for each other, the family piece that we were talking about. You know, we got to trust each other because, I mean, you got to trust that your brother's going to win his one-on-one, that everybody's going to win their one-on-one. And then everybody's got to pull their share of the weight, you know. And for those who can't pull their weight, the older guys got to pull theirs too. You know, everybody's got to get pulled. So we just got to really be locked in, learn our playbook, know what's going on around the field, and execute because, I mean, it's a game. Both teams, it's going to come down to execution. Who can execute the best, who's going to make the smallest mistakes, who's going to make the least mistakes. So, you know, that's what it comes down to.
He is Elijah Morris. Elijah, man, this has been awesome this spring and summer, getting to have you on in the studio. I appreciate all the people in Hoist the Colors and my team Boneyard for making this a reality, man. But looking forward to the senior season. I'm sure we'll be talking to you in preseason camp soon enough, man. But enjoy some of your summer, and hopefully you get some W's up on NCAA football before then, too.
Definitely enjoy being on here. Thanks for having me. Hopefully to be back again. So
no doubt.
But it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Appreciate it. That is Elijah Morris, ECU senior defensive lineman. All right, on the other side, we'll welcome in Matt Slate from Team Boneyard, get an update going into the summer on the NIL front. This is Hoist the Colors.
Welcome aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Arr, matey!
Back to the show with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors here on this Friday. Final edition of the show before summer hiatus. And we just talked to Elijah Morse. Appreciate his availability. His third time on the show. And part of that was made possible, of course, with Team Boneyard and the Hoist the Colors community. And now we're going to transition, talk some Team Boneyard with Matt Slate, board member over with the ECU NIL Collective. How's your summer going this far, Matt?
So far, good.
Yeah.
We've got a little week vacation coming up next week myself, so
nice.
I'm looking forward to that. A little time at the beach, but we've been busy. It feels like, what was thought to be, we'll have to do a little bit of here and there is now literally 247, but it's 24/7 from a collective standpoint of fundraising. What we have to do to continue to recruit and retain players. We've been busy. Across the board. So everything from continuing to raise money, making sure we have the players signed and taken care of, to what are we going to put on the shop next, and how do we continue to do that on a nonstop basis to build a brand. Sounds like a full-time job that you are still volunteering for. Correct? We are. There's 6 of us, and we probably spend a little bit too much time together sometimes. My wife has a few comments sometimes when I look at my phone. She's like, "Oh, what, Team Boneyard again?" I'm like, "Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, that's right."
Well, hey, it's a labor of love, and I think it goes without saying that without Team Boneyard, ECU athletics would be in a pretty tough position right now. So I mean,
I appreciate that. It is. I mean, we continue to just try to focus on growing. I mean, like we just I give you some examples, some updates of things. One, I continue to say. We want to continue to get more corporate involvement, more local businesses involved in Team Boneyard. I'd like to recognize SDS Restaurants. They own the Pizza Huts in Eastern North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, about 60 of them. But they made a nice investment. We're also going to be doing in the fall. The plan is to do some Pizza Hut Team Boneyard nights where you order pizza from certain restaurants. Part of those proceeds will be going to Team Boneyard. And that's exactly the type of thing that we continue to need to do to raise funds. I know asking people for money on it seems like that's what we do, right? Not on a nonstop basis becomes a challenge. But when we get this investment, like we did with Crush Vodka, like we're doing with Pizza Hut. Quite frankly, yesterday we spent a couple hours. We're hammering out, I think, what will be a good beverage to go in a koozie for the fall for our that will be branded. Scott Duke has been amazing at Hancock Peanuts. If you haven't tried Hancock Peanuts, they're really good. I did try them. It's one thing to say, it's just a peanut, but they're some of the best peanuts I've ever had. And Scott Duke, if you go to our website or HancockPeanut.com, he's giving back. It's $10 a can. And he has to buy the can, procure it, do everything. But those little things all add up. And that sales there have been great. We've got some other businesses we're working, I think, on a coffee and a few other things that are in development. The shop continues to grow. We've put a couple new things on, stuff like Brewmate. I don't know if you've ever used any of their koozies, but we have those branded koozies and those are selling pretty well. And those are things we've actually got a partner here that prints them and ships them on demand. So we're not having to carry inventory. And so that's a big piece for us too, because that means that we're not having to make that investment and having 30, 50 of those sitting around until they sit.
Right,
shift.
Which was previously what was going on, where you are having to ship them off and everything.
Yes.
Which was quite an undertaking.
It is. And so we've moved some of that. David Faree, the board member, Anson Belt, continues to work on that. The website continues to evolve, where I think it's getting cleaner and easier to work on. We are going to, towards the end of the summer, I believe, really push for a membership drive. But that doesn't mean we don't want members to join now. Yeah. And one of the conversations I've had with people is they're like, well, I can only do $10 a month. And I'm like, that's perfect. right? That's we're not asking. We know everyone can't write a $2,000, $1,000, $5,000, whatever $1,000 check. $10 a month makes a big difference, right? If we have 1,000 subscribers at $10 a month, that's $10,000 a month, and that over a year is $120,000. I will tell you that $120,000, can fill a position room in certain positions in football, or can really kind of fill what I would say is the back end of the bench in basketball. So maybe not your top, 1 or 2 players, but it does really make a difference. So that involvement is incredibly important. So if you're thinking about, I just don't know that it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And so that, I would like to thank every one of our subscribers, anyone that's given one time, whether you've bought merchandise, whether you've bought one of the co-branded products, whether you've consumed a crushed vodka, and hopefully when we get this Pizza Hut thing going, whether you buy a pizza on a Thursday night or whatever night it's going to be, all of that does matter, and it all does add up.
So you guys, when y'all finalize the dates, I assume y'all are announcing them on social media for the Pizza Hut challenge.
Of course,
yeah.
Yes,
okay.
yeah. We're going to get a little bit closer to the fall and
right.
kids, school back in football. And I've got some other ideas of some places where I hope that they'll be receptive. There may be some inbounds to a few businesses that have are already doing some things with ECU athletics that we do need them. I'm not asking anyone to lose money. Right, but I am asking if they find a way to be able to peel a little bit off from an NIL perspective. It is extremely important.
No doubt, you're seeing it right now. I want to ask you about the Savone Revel situation, which that made big headlines on 24/7 Sports the other day. We have a question from Zach Griffin. He and I don't know how much you guys are. I know Club 23 definitely involved with Team Boneyard. He says, "How is the current state of Club 23?" And he says, "Are there immediate funds needed for the summer baseball transfer portal?" So give an update there.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is. So what I would say is that 23 Club continues to grow. I think just like we've seen with what happened in football last year and a few other places. A couple of the transfers that happened have, I think, I'm going to step all the way back. I think NCAA baseball got a year reprieve.
Yeah.
So I think they're a year behind, right? So the number
feels like it.
Right. I don't think that the overall focus on NIL was as significant as it last year as it is now. And what you're seeing is a part of it is because it's not a fully scholarshiped sport. And so I think you're seeing collectives and across the country, just the goal of how do I scholarship this sport, right? And I think that you're seeing that in the SEC. I've seen some articles about the investment of, it's multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get that. I think it's 11.7
11.7 over 32 players is what you're allowed to do.
To get you to 32, right? And the full cost of attendance. Cost of attendance at ECU with stipend, we're talking in state, but everything is in the low 30s, right? So when you do 20 times 30 grand,
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and so that I believe that schools are trying to get there. And so, and I know that the conversations that the 23 Club has with Coach Godwin is how do we compete? So I will say that the dollars continue to come in. We've seen a nice pickup. I would say that the funding there in the last month has actually doubled the amount of money that's in the account, but they need more.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to need more. And it's retention and recruitment. Right. And he's also having to balance how do I distribute scholarships. Right. There's a whole piece that's going to change. And I'm not sure how this House versus NCAA ruling is going to go, whether they go to unlimited scholarships across the board. The higher are you up in the conference order, the more money they have to play with. But what is that if that happens, that just raises the tide. Right. It's not about everybody then has to kind of get to that point and that level. And so if that boat rises, the tide rises, all of them rise. And if you aren't going with them, then your boat's underwater.
I just know from talking with people, I feel like ECU is in baseball is trying to like you said, cover the scholarship, cover the expenses, and still, for solid players, maybe still getting beat because other teams are offering more. So I would say, from my perspective, covering recruiting, definitely give to the 23 club, because I think right now, not that Cliff Godwin's going out offering a bunch of money to transfers. I don't think that's his philosophy, but they do want to be able to cover the expenses, because you don't want to have to recruit a kid and tell him to pay to come to school.
No, it is. It's a change in mentality that I think, and I think that's the hard part for all of the coaches, right? Because the coaches, they are not equipped with a front office. If you are in the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, whatever professional sport, I watch the NFL draft. You see the draft room? There's 30 guys in the draft room. Well, guess what? There's another 100 people that you don't see, right? And now you're asking that coach basically to be that draft room, to assess value, to figure out, what is that kid's value on a marketplace, and then what is that student athlete's value on my team, right? And so I've got 3 third basemen. I'm just using, I'm saying we have 3 third basemen. I may not need a 4th, right? And so, yes, that kid's value is X in the market, but to me it's 0 because I don't need them. And they're having to now do that part of the math. So I've spent a lot of time with Coach Schwartz. We've talked about this. I mean, this is not easy. I mean, so and actually, in some ways it might be easier for him because he's a younger head coach. So he's learning it all at the same time, whereas someone that's been doing it for 15 years, I think that's why you see some of the head coaches in the country that have just said, "I'm good. I'm going to go be an assistant, or I'm out," because they look at it and they go, "I don't want to relearn.
Just don't want to deal with this.
I don't want to relearn how to do my job." Yeah. And so I think I think fans have to kind of step back and say, "Wait, it's not just this piece, but also these coaches are trying to figure out how to balance this out and basically become a general manager, not just a coach, not just a development person, not just a leader. I'm now a GM that's got to assess value."
It's a crazy industry right now. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. All right, Savone Revel, there were reports from Chris Hummer, 24/7 Sports, our national guy, put out there. Basically, he was being offered, $350,000, $250,000, anywhere in that range. He did choose to come back. Now, my understanding is obviously Team Boneyard made an investment in him as well. It's not like y'all just stuck him with what.
No, I mean, look, that's one of the you were talking to Elijah before, and you talked a little bit about it, but he's not the only player, right? I mean, the challenge that we have is, so if you're in professional sports in general, right, you're under a 3 or 4 year contract, and then free agency opens up. But the way this is built in the NCAA right now, you have 2 periods of free agency a year, right?
So basically, guys are on 6-month contracts.
They really are, right? And I feel, and it's not. I don't blame the players, right? Because they're just operating in the environment that is being allowed right now, right? So we went from ultimate control to no control, right? So this is a pendulum thing, and the pendulum was way too far one way, and now, in my personal opinion, it's way too far the other. But you think about Revel's case, right? Young person, student athlete, trying to wrap up a semester. By the way, he's got finals. He's a student, by the way, right? Don't forget that. He's doing all those things, and that article is pretty amazing. But yeah, he's getting all of these calls, whether it's through family members or directly or whatever, trying to lure him into making a decision that, once he makes that decision, may or may not be true. Yeah. That's really the hard part, right? And kudos to him of being loyal and wanting to stay here. And quite frankly, if you think about it long term, I mean, he slots as a 2nd or 3rd round pick, right? Staying here, he's going to. I mean, nobody's getting 100% of the snaps just because of. But you're probably going to get 80% of the snaps here. You go somewhere else, that's not guaranteed, right? You're going to line up with the places that can pay that kind of money. All of a sudden, he may go, look, I'm only going to play 40% of the snaps. Yeah. And that's just that, but that's the most anybody's going to play. So he gets to showcase, and I think he realizes he can showcase his talent here, and people have already identified him. But yeah, Team Boneyard did make an additional investment, and then not just in him, I would say in a larger number of football players during that period, and that means that we're in this continuous need to raise money. Where you would think, oh, look, do we have a budget? What's the budget? It's a moving target, and it continues to move.
Because guys are getting those calls, so you have to adjust as it happens. Too.
Absolutely, and when the revenue sharing agreement goes into place, right? Again, it's a rising tide, right? And so when that lifts up, of okay, well now everybody is sharing revenue at a certain level. Will the American Conference schools go to that? I think that they're forced to.
Yeah.
They may not like it, but they're going to be forced to do something, right? And the bigger picture, longer run, is that I think this hurts non-revenue sports, right? Because this becomes an economics decision of, okay, I've got to make this massive investment in the sports that are generating revenue. What happens to the sports that are not? And I think that's going to take a little while. That's my bolder prediction of give it a couple years, right? So you've got that piece going on. The other piece that you've got going on that article doesn't address, and I don't think it featured Revel, but I will say it's impacted ECU already, is the rise of NIL agents.
Yeah.
NIL agents are so traditionally sports agents were allowed to represent professional sports athletes. You can now get approved to be an NIL agent. And the number of agents, because they can see it, of this is how you can attract talent and this is how you get in early, they're getting approved to do it. So they're doing more representation, right? And so without naming names, I would say that ECU has lost a player recently where I can 100% tell you that there was an NIL agent representing them, because their job is to maximize value, right? And so there are no rules against them going out there nonstop and looking for a way to maximize value. And multiple people got phone calls of, hey, can we do more to personally help a certain player? It wasn't asked of the collective. It was asked of businesses and people. And so the rise of that agent representation is also something else that is becoming more challenging within the environment. And in this case, ECU lost that player.
It's a daily challenge for you guys. There's no doubt about it. Let's get a break, and our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show with Matt Slate, talk more about that and more. This is Hoist the Colors.
play here. This is Hoist the Colors Radio with Stephen Igo.
Yes! That was so good!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors. Final segment here, final few minutes of the season of Hoist the Colors. We'll be off for summer hiatus. Matt Slate, Team Boneyard with us. All right, we were talking, and look, there's a sense of urgency, Matt, to raise money, but I don't want it to.
No,
you guys have had a lot of success.
We have. No, it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The number of businesses that have stepped up, the number of donors that have stepped up. I think the conversation, this conversation wasn't even happening 18 months ago. The conversation, the understanding, and people finding the willingness to, whether it's to buy a shirt or to make an investment, the number of people that have done that is more than tripled this year. So when you look at all the different ways, from the auction to everything else, and like the auction's been great. A lot of the people are getting those deals fulfilled. We've had dinners. We put some of that on the internet, where on social media, where they've been willing. I can tell you that a really cool story is the guy that won golf with Mike Houston said, "Hey, I really want to play with Mike and JDB. Why don't if I give more, will JDB play?" And the answer was yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So the coaches are invested. The athletic department is invested. And so, but it definitely is. It's something that this isn't going away. We're going to continue to talk about it. I really do feel like we've helped upgrade. Everyone has helped upgrade what's going to be there for football. I think football's got a real opportunity to change the story. And I will tell you that those guys are focused. I had an opportunity. I walked by Minji's the other day. I was on campus, and I just stopped for 2 seconds, stuck my head in, and saw the basketball team practicing. Those guys are going at it. Spoke to Coach Schwartz the other day. He's like, they're here at 7:15 working their tails off. And a lot of it's what they do on their own with managers and different things, but they're working their butts off hours a day. So that team's already here. They're already focused. And you can already see that Coach Godwin is working on figuring out exactly what that roster will look like next year. So all of that is a positive, and you've got people that are working extremely hard to make this as successful as we can be. And we compete in the conference first, then we'll figure out how to compete, elsewhere. But to Elijah's point, the goal, let's win the conference. We win the conference, we'll see what that lays out for us.
No doubt. Matt Slate with us for a short on time, but I want to plug teamboneyard.org. Again, every member counts, whether it's $10 or whatever you can give, and people can sign up there in the shop. There's also a link to it and everything. But, Matt, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for all your work, and obviously I know you'll get a little downtime this summer, but we'll continue to have you on the show in the fall going into everything, man. So
I appreciate it. Enjoy your little highs as well. It's a good time to reset.
No doubt, no doubt. Matt Slate with Team Boneyard does great work helping ECU Athletics have a chance to compete for championships. All right, it's been fun. It's been a fun season. We'll be back sometime in August. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in all fall and winter.